Are you blackmailing me, Major?
I would prefer not to be filming acts of heroism and valor on that beach tomorrow.
I'm a big fan of story structure, especially in stories intended for a commercial audience, and nobody does commercial better or worse when it bombs than Hollywood. But what is meant by the Hollywood story structure anyway, and how should one go about unlocking its secrets? Let's find out. Welcome to Get Writing. I'm Dr. Stavros Halvatsis. There are countless videos, books, and articles on the subject of structure, including many in my own website and in this channel. One can concentrate on the details and study the workings of, say, the inciting incident, the first and second turning point, the midpoint, the climax, and the resolution, and certainly one would be the wiser for it. But sometimes I prefer to talk about structure, especially to those who are just embarking on the writing journey, in a more accessible, common sense way. Here is a friendlier snapshot of story structure taken from Scott Meredith's book, Writing to Sell. A sympathetic lead character finds himself in trouble of some kind and makes active efforts to get himself out of it. Each effort, however, merely gets him deeper into his trouble, and each new obstacle in this path is larger than the last. Finally, when things look blackest and it seems certain that the lead character is finished, he manages to get out of his trouble through his own efforts, intelligence, or ingenuity. In Edge of Tomorrow, the hero Tom Cruise, whose popularity is transmitted to his role of Major Cage, gets into trouble by trying to prevent himself from being sent to the war front to report on the struggle against the alien invasion by trying to blackmail the general in charge.
Arrest this man.
What?
Things take a turn for the worst when the general strips him of his rank and sends him to the front as an army private. Cage has to acquire the skills to survive and become a more ethical person in the midst of the terrifying danger of a war zone scenario that keeps resetting and repeating itself. Much can be learned thinking carefully about the keywords and phrases in Meredith's passage. Sympathetic lead, trouble, active efforts, deeper into his troubles, larger than the last, blackest, finished, out of trouble through his own efforts, and intelligence or ingenuity. Each word or phrase contains important guidance that helps to make for a successful story. For us to care for the protagonist, for example, he or she must be sympathetic or at least be willing to learn from past mistakes. We wouldn't care much for Hitler now, would we? For us to be drawn into the story itself, the character must also be in serious trouble. Further, this trouble has to keep growing to avoid stasis and boredom. For us to stay interested, the tension needs to increase and the problem needs to worsen. Hollywood story structure then lays out a set of challenging events involving a sympathetic character facing an almost insurmountable problem in a way that conspires to keep readers and audiences engrossed in the story. You get the idea. So there you have it, 3 simple sentences taken from Meredith's book that highlight key features of a commercially viable story. By way of summary then, the Hollywood story structure refers to causally connected events involving a sympathetic protagonist facing almost insurmountable and worsening problems that threaten to stop him or her from attaining the story goal. That's it for now. Let me know if you enjoyed the content, and see you soon.